All right, so Tristan Levin back on the show. A lot of things happened since the last time I had you on there. So first up, let's talk about folk style states. You wound up making it twice.
Yeah, so my freshman year, I made it to the blood round, and I wasn't like too worried about it because I had a good bracket, but I knew I still had like a lot of time. You know what I mean? And this year, I hurt a lot because I worked so hard this year, cut a bunch of weight, but I had like one of the hardest brackets in the state too. You know what I mean? So I'm just working way harder this off season, and the blood round sucks, but you got to brush it off and just come back harder next year.
Right, right. And was it like the same kind of bracket both years in a row?
Uh, it was some similar kids, but like a lot of kids stayed down, some kids went up, but yeah, it was some similar kids.
Now talk about Craig Sampson being added to the coaching staff.
Yeah, so this was Craig's first year, and Craig was like awesome for us. Like I think without Craig, we wouldn't have won the city championship. Like Craig changed everyone's wrestling on the team. He like improved everyone's like top work, neutral, bottom, everything. Um, Me and Craig also did a lot of one-on-one work, so that was really good too. But yeah, Craig was awesome.
So now let's jump ahead to freestyle and Greco. Talk about that.
Yeah, so
States
I
specifically.
yeah, yeah. I definitely like freestyle way better than folk because I think I'm way better in neutral, like on my feet. And yeah, so states in freestyle, I ended up getting third. I wrestled Futia, who I had a close match with at Eastern States, and he ended up placing at state this year. So that was a good kid, but there were some controversial calls in the match. I think I should have won, but it is what it is. Um, and then I ended up battling back and I got third. And then in Greco, I never trained Greco. Like this was maybe my second tournament in Greco. I ended up getting second. I pretty much dominated like through the tournament, and then in the finals, I wrestled this kid Mastriani, who ended up wrestling 116 this year. He also placed, I think, like fifth, fourth, something like that. And yeah, I mean, he kind of outmuscled me. That was like one of my first times wrestling 120, but yeah, I ended up getting him back the next weekend though at regionals.
Now something that's become a thing in like the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years, are the advent of RTCs. And a few years back, they changed the qualifications. But basically, if you do well enough at freestyle and Greco states or whatever, Northeast regionals and stuff like that, you get to train with world class wrestlers. So, are you going to set foot in one of the RTCs?
I was definitely thinking about training at the UPenn RTC because they have like Sunday training, so I was gonna go once a month. But yeah, that's definitely like a really cool opportunity.
Do you think that if you train there, you think that could help you, I'd say, have a more desirable outcome in terms of like next season?
Yeah, there's a lot of big guys that work there, like Jordan Burroughs trains there. That's a big name. But yeah, you definitely learn from a lot of really really good guys, good coaches, definitely good kids that go there. Yeah, for sure, you definitely get better from there.
Now, talk about Northeast regionals.
Yeah, so freestyle, I think I went 2-2. Um, First match, the kid, it was a good scrap. Like the kid was tough, but I ended up edging him out in that one. And then the second match, I wrestled a Sem kid who was pretty good. I ended up losing that one, like maybe like 9-1, something like that. Kid was tough. And then I wrestled another match in the consies, won that, and then I had a really close match. Again, another controversial call. Freestyle is like subjective. You know what I mean? Like it's all up to the refs if they think it's four, think it's two. So, but I should have not let it be that close. You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. And then Greco, I did pretty good. Greco, I ended up making it to the semis. Um, First match, I wrestled the kid I lost to in the state finals, and then I ended up beating him 10-10 off criteria. So that was a really good match. And then in the quarters, I wrestled a one seed, and I ended up edging him out maybe by like 1 or 2 points. So that was a really good match for me. And in the semis, after the break, I was up 1-0. And then I kind of went for like a hip toss, but the kid kind of caught my arm. And then he brung me down like weirdly. And then once you catch a trap arm, it's hard to get out of a trap arm. So, I got trap arm there. And then from there, I just went downhill. And I ended up getting sixth, but it's all right.
So now I had Brendan Sprague on here on the last
Mhm.
episode, and I don't know if you saw it yet or not, but it seems you and him have the same consensus on the rules of freestyle, like what affects cautions and things like that, criteria.
Right.
So why do you guys think that it's subjective, that the refs pick and choose?
So there's three judges in freestyle and Greco, and a lot of the times it's like, I mean, even in folk style, there's some calls that could be argued. You know what I mean? But for example, like a four is feet to back, but like someone could argue that they turned and it wasn't feet to back, or someone could argue it wasn't exposure and it shouldn't be two. So it's all what the refs think, or sometimes even like there's a point for another guy, and in exchange, another guy gets a point.
Mm,
Like it could be 4-2. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's part of the sport, but yeah.
Mm. And even with that happening, with the refs having more influence, there being more refs present, three in freestyle and Greco instead of one in folk style, you still
Exactly.
think freestyle is better than folk style for you.
Oh, yeah. I think it's way better.
Have you hit any suplexes or any big like 5 point moves?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, when I get like in a double, I've been like kind of cartwheeling.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How'd you learn to do that? You just naturally, that's just athletic.
Yeah, I just tried it in a match.
Uh,
Yeah.
and something I keep noticing for your matches, it's like 2 tournaments in a row, you almost wind up getting into a fight with somebody.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Um, Eastern States, I almost fought with a kid. I don't know if you know the kid Sheridan. Some kid that ended up placing the state. In a match, you're going hard. You know what I mean? Even if it's your friend or whatever, you're hand fighting hard. You want to win the match. So sometimes it gets heated, and sometimes I don't take it the right way. But yeah,
Yeah, you got to be tough. It's a tough sport.
right.
So, speaking of Brendan Sprague, you ever got to train with him? Do you know him well?
Yeah, me and Brennan are pretty good friends. I actually been trying to like plan out training this week. You know, because he's a kid that's pretty good that lives right next to me. So yeah, definitely want to get us training together.
Are you surprised that he's like pretty much as good as you, but he only started wrestling not even 300 days ago? So it's like,
Yeah, he's a quick learner. I don't know about as good as me, but he's he's a good learner, and definitely someone to train someone to train with that will definitely benefit me because he's athletic, he's agile, he's good. The kid's good.
and he mentioned his brother, and I found out that his brother wrestles at Farrell as well. He just graduated. So you think kind of like you with Jacob, you think that having an older sibling helps out?
Well, I don't know what time his older brother like started. I think his older brother was injured, but yeah, of course, an older brother, yeah, and anyone can help you learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true, true. I see Jacob's been helping you coach a little bit. Has he been able to like help you improve like a lot?
Yeah, definitely having him in the corner helps me. Like he points stuff out. You know what I mean? Um, and helps me out. Yeah, I love having him in my corner.
Have you been able to lift with him at all?
Yeah, recently I've been lifting with Jacob. Yeah.
So now, what's your take on like lifting during the season? Some people try not to lift that much. Some people like lifting a lot.
Well, in the season, I don't really have time to lift because I would have school practice and then club practice right after. And also, it just takes like a big toll on your body. In the off season, you should be like in the off season, like after Fargo, I'm not really gonna cut any more weight. I'm just gonna focus on getting like bigger. I'm coming up on junior year. Uh, College coaches are recruiting, so I just want to get bigger. And yeah,
How much do you weigh right now, like walking around?
so right now I'm probably like 129, 128, 130, something like that. And Fargo, I'm gonna be going 120.
Now, is it like easier for you to make weight in like freestyle or folk style?
Well, during the season, I was definitely cutting a lot more weight. So um right now I feel like it's more like fun. You know what I mean? Like freestyle gives me a more like fun vibe.
Yeah.
So right now it's definitely way easier to cut weight, obviously, because I'm bigger and yeah.
Do you like prioritize your nutrition and stuff, or is it just eating whatever?
Uh right now I'm kind of eating whatever. But definitely when I'm cutting weight, I'm definitely focused on my nutrition and being able to like perform at practice my best so I can cut that weight.
Is there any like funny like weigh-in story where it's like you made weight after eating a bunch of junk and you still somehow performed well?
No, but there's been plenty of times where I've made it like on the dot. Like, yeah, in the season I couldn't even cheat at all. Like what would happen is I would wrestle, right? And then by Monday after that weekend, I would be like 122 after weighing 108 or 110, whatever it was. And then I have to cut all that weight. So that was pretty rough.
So you're doing it
But
like
yeah,
an MMA fighter.
yeah, the stupid way.
So I know that they took away the thing they had when I was in high school where you could like weigh in the morning and then weigh in again before the match. I never knew what it was called, but they took that away. So how do you
Yeah.
think things would be different if you still had it?
Well, freshman year I had it. Freshman year was the last year they took it away. Um, Listen, I loved it, but in general, it's like a cheat code. Like I would never make scratch weight like ever. Maybe one time I made scratch weight freshman year. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Because I remember I wrestled like 132 for most of my high school career, and I used to weigh in at like 135 and stuff because we had like the allowance and things like that. It's
yeah, yeah,
like 134.8 and stuff. So I
yeah.
really didn't cut any weight.
Right.
There's somebody else that's been kind of like blowing up really. He goes to St. Joe's by the Sea. Talk about Justin Stassi.
Um, Justin. I actually haven't seen Justin in a while, but definitely freshman year he came to Jersey a little bit to train with me, but um this year I don't think he cut any weight at all. He wrestled pretty heavy, but I think he wrestled like 24. He didn't cut any weight. Um, but yeah, Justin's a nice kid. Me and Justin known each other for a while now.
I met up with one of his coaches just randomly in Staten Island because everyone in Staten Island knows each other. But
Hmm.
he said that Justin's like so good to where you could just show him something one time and he gets it, kind of like Sprague.
Right? Yeah, he's definitely a quick learner. Um, and he's also super athletic. Yeah.
Now, both of you both trained at the Tiger Showman spots in Staten Island and stuff, so you both came up with like the martial arts and all that. How did
Right.
that like? How'd you incorporate any of that into your wrestling, if you did?
Um, I think like I have like super good hips in wrestling, and I'm pretty like flexible because of that. And also that's why I think we both learned pretty quick. And as soon as I came into wrestling, I knew how to shoot a double leg. I knew how to shoot a single leg. So especially at a young age, I think I caught on pretty quick.
Do you still like train at all, just to keep yourself
N-
sharp? Nope.
I would definitely love to get back to train a few times. Like I still watch UFC and all that, but no, right now focused on wrestling.
Right, right. So, like, what's been the biggest component in like helping you get better? Is it the frequent competing, like competing a lot, or is it practicing a lot?
Um, I think I think every kid needs both. Um, I don't compete every single weekend. I think that's a little too much. Like you see kids around the country doing that. I think the practice room is where you get better, but obviously you need to compete. Um, so yeah, a little bit of both. Privates is always good. Wrestling, just constant wrestling. It's always going to be good, and making sure you're going to the right competitions is also because that's where you really learn from your match time.
Do you think somebody that's like kind of new, kind of green, should be going to like Super 32 and stuff? Or do you think they should just stick with low level tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're new, you should really know what tournament you're going to. And yeah, the practice room is what's going to get you better. What's going to make you learn and be ready for match time.
How do you feel about seeing certain people, we both kind of know them, they would go to Super 32 and they would go here and there, and it's like, you're not gonna do anything. Why are you over that? How do you
Right.
feel about seeing that?
Listen, people can do what they want to do. I'm not gonna like they could do what they want to do, but yeah, in my opinion, I think you got to train. Like that's a sick tournament. Like you got to be really good to compete in that. You know, so
And then that kind of goes into like people training at clubs and stuff, because I see some wrestlers, well, probably most, they train at certain clubs, at certain names, and certain people are there. Not gonna name any names, but they'll post, "Oh, I took a picture with this guy. I trained with that guy, and all that," rather than actually being there trying to get better. And then
mm,
there's a difference between them and the people that go to these clubs to actually get better. So,
mm.
like, what's your opinion on that? Like the guys that go there to just for clout, and the guys that go there to actually get better.
Listen, no one knows what goes behind the scenes. Like when you see social media, um, I mean, I think it's all right to post, but there's definitely those kids that are just grinders that don't post anything that are just very strict on working hard training. But listen, the kids that really care, the kids that work hard, that don't care about social media, those are the kids that are gonna really those are the kids that are gonna be good. Listen, you need a little bit of a platform, right? But all your focus should be wrestling.
Right. So then, now I want to ask, what's better for you specifically, privates or
Mhm.
team practices?
Um, yeah, again, I think you need a little bit of both because um I love doing one-on-one privates with just a coach better than doing it with like a kid and a coach because when you're with the coach, they feel what you're doing. You know what I mean? Um, and then they could critique you while wrestling with you. And then I think it's also important to wrestle kids because you're not gonna wrestle a grown man. Um, you're gonna wrestle kids your size, and it's better to do both. I think it's better to have a little bit of everything.
Now, speaking of the disparity you just mentioned, like between kids and grown men, some of these kids
Mm,
are strong. Like, I've
right.
met 15-year-olds that are bigger and taller than me and stronger than me. I'm like, I'm a man. Like, what is this? So, like,
Hmm.
you probably wrestled some of those guys. So, what's your opinion on that? Like, the kids have man strength for no reason.
Um, some kids are gifted, but that's why you gotta be very technical because technique is obviously gonna beat strength. So
Well, so that's funny you say that, because Wrestle Mindset had an interview with Donnie Pritzlaff and Coach Goodell, and they both said that they'd rather someone who's strong than someone who's technical, because you can kind of get away with being in bad positions, and you could beat somebody who's better than you in a lot of positions if you're stronger than them. So, do you think that it's more important to be technical or to be strong, or be fast or
well,
be
I
strong?
I mean, oh, be faster, be stronger. I think stronger. Um, because either way, when you're at that level, those are Rutgers coaches. When you're at that level, I like they can make a kid learn quick. You know what I mean? But in wrestling, yeah, I think I'd rather be stronger for sure.
So like, how did you get so much stronger? Because like you said earlier, you're picking people up, cartwheeling, things like that. Is that like
Um,
in the gym, or is it just picking up humans? And
Listen, I mean, definitely the gym helps, but I think also I'm naturally decently strong, so and I have good genetics. But yeah, definitely the gym. The gym helps a lot.
all right, so last one. What's your plan for Fargo?
My plan for Fargo, so I'm not really going in with any pressure because I'm not expected to really do much. You know what I mean? Like, but I think I'm gonna go in there and I have no pressure on me, so I'm just gonna go in there like wrestle my hardest and you know, at the end of the day, like I'm an underdog. You know what I mean? I like that more than being the one seed because you have nothing to lose. So I'm gonna go in there, work hard, and hopefully I get good results.
Now, I talked with Sprague about like the weigh-in thing at Fargo because I never went. So you got to weigh in twice, and you kind of have to find a way to kind of stay at your weight the entire time that you're there. And talking like 5, 6, 7 days, or however long you're there, since you qualify for both styles. So how are you gonna manage your weight being there so long?
So, that's exactly why I'm not going 13. You know what I mean? Just one cut to 113 is a lot. And, I'm a growing kid. I don't wanna do that. And also if I plan on getting bigger next year, then what's the point of me cutting all that weight? So I think 120 is a reasonable weight for me. And I actually feel better at 120 because like I'm lifting kids. I'm not as drained and 120 will definitely be a reasonable weight to maintain throughout that whole week at Fargo.
So now coupled in with all that,
Mm.
what do you? Because usually guys get to the blood round and then it kind of gets in their head a little bit. The pressure comes on because that's when you really like you see who's ready to get a stop sign or not. So when you
Right.
get to the blood round, what's your mind gonna be like?
You know, Past 2 years, blood run hasn't worked out for me. But if you make it to the blood run at Fargo, you better believe that I'm coming out hard. You know what I mean? So that's when you place at Fargo. So many colleges reach out to you. It's awesome to place at Fargo. So yeah, if I'm in the blood round, I'm coming out hard.
All right, so Fargo's not that far away, so good luck and pretty sure you're gonna get a stop sign.
Thank you.